All right, here we go. What's the first thing we do when we want to solve a system by graphing?
Isolate the y.
Isolate the y's, right? In order to graph lines, we get y by itself, right? So, to get y by itself on the left, what should we do first? What are we moving? The 2x. How do I move the 2x? Subtract it, right? We're taking the whole term over, so we're subtracting it. Question so far? Is y isolated yet? No. So what do I have to move now? Right. And remember, that means -3 times y, so we're going to divide by -3. And that means everything's divided by -3. Okay? So that gives me y equals, this fraction, since they're both top and bottom negative, actually becomes a positive 2/3 x. And what's 3 divided by -3? -1, right? So then, what do I do to graph this now? It's in slope-intercept form, right? Where do I start? Right. On the y-axis, -1. Right there. Then what? Rise and run, right? So Mason, how far do I rise and how far do I run?
You go up 2 and over 3.
Right. So we're going to go up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. And you can do that a couple times if you want. And then if you want to go down 2 and left 3, 2 negatives make a what? Positive, like we already said, right? So when you do this method, right, you need to use a straight edge, like a ruler or something, so that your lines are straight. Because we're looking to see where the two lines intersect, right? So you got to try to be as accurate as possible. Okay, so there's that one. Let's graph the other one. What do I have to do to isolate the y here? Cindy? Right, subtract the 2. We got to move the 2 over. So we've got it isolated. So where do I start, Sophia? Right, -2 on the y, so they're pretty close already. And what's my slope? 1, 1, right? 1 over 1. There's a 1 in front of that x. So from there I go up 1 and over 1. Up 1 and over 1. Up 1 and over 1. It looks like I'm going to hit right there at that point. I'll draw my line now to finish it up. Again, use a straight edge so that you get the straight line. All right, so our point of intersection looks to be that point. So what is that point? 3, 1, right? Let's check it to make sure it works. What's 2 times 3? 6. What's 3 times 1? 3, but it's negative, right? Is that equal 3? Works there. All right. If I put a 1 in for y, 1 plus 2, does that equal 3 for x? Yes, we have the right solution. Okay. That was on our last quiz, right? You should be able to solve a system by graphing. You could put those 2 in your calculator. How do I graph in my calculator? What button do I start with? Y equals, right? So, what do we get? 2/3. All right, 2/3 x. So when you write fractions with this calculator, put parentheses and just go 2 divided by 3. That's how you show a fraction. It's a division problem. X is right here, under mode, next to alpha. And then it was minus 1, right? And then the other one was y equals x minus 2. So x minus 2. So you hit enter. And then how do I look at the graphs? Hit graph. Where's that at? Top right here. There's our first one we did. There's the second one we did. Okay? Now, if you want to put the grids in, you can go to mode. And I think, where is that? I want real numbers. And I don't know if it'll do that or not. Let's see if I put that in. And then graph. Oh, it just makes it fatter. So that's not what I want. All right, so some of yours will show that. I forget where that is. Yeah, I forget where that is. I might be able to figure that out. All right, so I guess we can't do that, but let me show you this. So we got our graph. All right. The button next to graph is trace. And what's it say above trace? You guys looking at your calculator? It says what? Calc. All right. So how do I get the calc to show up? Since it's in blue for me. Hit second, right. So hit second trace. And we're looking for where the two lines do what? Intersect. What's number 5 say? Intersect. So hit 5, and it's going to say first curve. Okay, and if you look, there's like a cursor that's blinking. When you do this, it'll start at the y-intercept on the first equation you put in, the first line. So all you have to do is hit enter. And then the second curve, it starts at the y-intercept of that one. Just hit enter. And then it says guess. Okay? When I hit enter now, it's going to go to that point of intersection. So there's our answer. So your calculator can do that as long as you get y by itself first, like you normally have to do if you're going to do it by hand.
Why is it showing up the second line?
This wasn't highlighted, so I just moved the cursor over and hit enter.
Oh.
And then it should show up. It did.
Alright.
It came off again. I don't know why. It didn't do that. Is this brand new?
No.
Okay, so I want to do something. I want to clear your memory, just reset it all, and then you'll have to put it back on. And then any other questions? Okay, so just for warm up, that's something we should be able to do by now, right? Okay, so let's focus and make sure we don't forget some stuff we've been going over. All right, let's go over this one. It says find the axis of symmetry and the vertex. So what's the formula I use, AJ? To find the axis of symmetry, what formula do I use?
Negative b over 2.
Thank you. So x equals negative b over 2a. So this is negative b over 2a. What's that equal? 5, right? So So there's our axis of symmetry. So that's one answer. All right. To find the vertex, it's an x value and a y value. What's the x value of the vertex? 5. We just found that. So we already have, the vertex is always on the axis of symmetry. So we already have the x value of the vertex by doing what we just did. How do I find the y value of the vertex? What do I do with that 5? I plug it into the original function, right? So I'm going to put 5 squared minus 10 times 5 plus 2. Well, 5 squared is 25, and 10 times 5 is 50. What's 25 minus 50? Negative 25. Plus 2? Negative 23. Questions? Get that right? Thank you. You look at your homework and see if you got it. One more go. This is the homework right here. So you should have it already down. I just want to, we're checking our homework right now, right? All right, number 2. Where do I start again? Right. So negative b over 2a. What's that equal? Positive 2, right? So there's our axis of symmetry. And what do I do again to find the vertex? Plug it into the function, right? So it's negative 4 times 2 squared plus 16 times 2. What's 2 squared? 4 times negative 4. Negative 16. What's 16 times 2? What's negative 16 plus 32? Positive 16. Questions on the first 2? All right. Caleb Berkey, what's number 3? What'd you get for the axis of symmetry? All right. You don't have to tell me what to do. What's your answer?
Oh.
Good. What's your vertex? You guys agree with him? Everybody got 29? Let's check it. Not everybody's agreeing, so let's check. All right, so what's negative 2 when you square it? 4 positive times negative 2 is negative 8. What's negative 8 times negative 2? Positive 16. Negative 8 plus 16 is positive 8 plus 5 is 13. Should have been 13. Questions? Okay. Callie, what'd you get for 4? What's your axis of symmetry?
1.
1? You guys agree with her? Okay. Vertex, Callie?
4.
1, 4, you mean?
Yeah.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
Very well.
Questions? No questions? All right. So those are the first 4. All right, 5, 6, and 7, it says graph and then find domain and range, right? So, what do I have to do to graph it? What do I have to find out? Brock? Axis of symmetry, AOS. And the vertex. And, yeah, but before to graph it, I need the axis of symmetry, the vertex, and y-intercept, right? So I have to find those three things. So, for the axis of symmetry, it's -6 over 2 times 3, which is -1, right? So, my axis of symmetry is right there. Okay? Questions? Remember, it's always vertical for these right now, right? Next thing is going to find the vertex. So the vertex is -1. I put a -1 in here. What's -1 squared? +1 times 3. What's 6 times -1? -6. What's -3 plus 2? -1. So there's my vertex. So right here, oh, does it open up or down? Up. Everybody know why? Positive what? +3 in that A spot, right? My A value is 3. All right, so what's my y-intercept, Colt?
It is 2.
Right, and that's from the C value, right?
Yeah.
So here is 0, 2. Where's my third point? To finish my parabola. Yeah, -2, 2, right? Right there. It's just, I'm 1 to the right, so I go 1 to the left. So this is kind of a skinny parabola right there. Questions? All right. So, number 6. What's the axis of symmetry? Caitlin?
2.
2. Good. Tristan, what's the vertex?
I got 2, -9.
Good. Anybody have a question on how we found those? What's my y-intercept? Nick? Good. Okay, that's our C value. So we can start graphing it. Oh, does it open up or down? So I know what it looks like. Up. Right, because it's A is +2. We're all okay with that? All right, so now we're going to go ahead and graph it. So y = 2 is my y-intercept. Or my axis of symmetry, sorry. My y-intercept is 0, -1. My vertex was 2, -9. Where's that third point? So I have my parabola. AJ?
4, -1.
Good. I'm 2 to the left to get the y-intercept, so I go 2 to the right. And that's a 4, -1. And then we connect. All right. Questions? Is this helping? Again, by now, this is a, what, 4th day doing this, right? Basically. We should know how to do it. All right, number 7. Up or down? Down this time, right? What's my axis of symmetry? Jordan, what'd you get?
I got -0.1.
You guys agree with her? No? Brock, what do you say?
I got 2.5.
You guys agree with him? Taylor?
I got -2.5, 2.5.
That's what I got. I got -2.5. Let's check it. So we're going x equals -b over 2a. What's the top one become? Positive one. What's the bottom become? What's 2 times 1/5? What's 2 times 1? 2. So what's 2 times 1/5? 2/5, right? But it's a negative because it's a positive times negative. Now, when you divide by a fraction, what have you learned that's much easier? Multiply by the reciprocal. You've heard that before, right? So the problem is 1 divided by -2/5 is the same as 1 times 5 over -2. Well, what's 1 times anything? That number, right, itself. So my axis of symmetry is -5/2, which is -2.5. Okay? So if you have to divide by a fraction, remember it's much easier to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay? So when you substitute that -2.5 up there for our vertex, all right, you can just use your calculator. Go -1/5. So parentheses, negative signs right here at the bottom, like your old calculators. Remember to write a fraction, just put it in parentheses, use division for the fraction bar. Right? Mason. And then x squared, the squared button's up here on the left, a little bit above the 7. Okay? Oh, I don't need that. X, sorry. Because I'm putting, what am I putting in for x? Sorry. What am I putting in for x? -2, oops. -2.5 squared. All right? Minus, parenthesis, -2.5 plus 5. All right, so just put in your calculator. You don't have to try to do it by hand. So you get 6.25 for the y value of the vertex. Just like we did before. We just have fractions this time, or decimals. Okay? And then y-intercept is what? Come on. 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? It was -2.5, 1, 2.5, and then 6.25. So a little bit above the 6. Right about there. Okay? My axis of symmetry is, I'm going to draw a skinnier line. And it, well, I got a dashed one, I guess. Oops. Didn't want to stay straight for me. I missed it a little bit. All right. Where's my other point going to be? This is 5, 0, 5. Oops. I gotta get my pen back. This is right there. How far do I go? Right or left? Left. How far? How far away am I from here? 2.5. So left, 2.5. So what's 2.5 plus 2.5? 5. So that's 5, or negative 5. And then it's going to be like this. Okay? All right. Number 8, min or max? What's the value? Anybody? Spencer.
Y is less than or equal to 14.
Oh, you know what we forgot to do on 5 through 7? What did I forget to do? Domain and range. Sorry about that. All right. So domain is always what? All real numbers. So all 3 of these, all real numbers. What's the range? What values? What values are we looking at for range? Y, thank you. If it's going up, it's a minimum, right? So it's greater than or equal to. If it's going down like this last one, it's less than or equal to. And then what number do I put in? The Y value of the vertex. Not the C value, but the Y value of the vertex. So this one was -1. This one was -9. And this one was 6.25. Okay? I forgot to do that. All right, so back to number 8. It's a max. What did you say it was, Spencer?
Y is less than or equal to 14.5.
Right, you can just tell me 14.5 then, but it would have been less than or equal to. Number 9, Brooke. Max or min? And what is the minimum value? -10. Good. Number 10, Nolan. Max or min? Max. What is the value?
-1.
Close. Caleb, Collins?
Is it -3?
Yeah, -3. All right, I forgot to put the answers here. $11, max or min, Landry? Good, because it's negative. What's the maximum value, Sophia? Yep, that's what I got too. Questions? We know how to find these, right? It's the Y value of the vertex, right? We've been finding vertices all the way through here today. Max or min for number 12? Min. What's the value, Brock?
3.
3, good. Max or min for the last one, Nick? Looking at this, -1/4 in front. Does it open up or down? Down. So if it opens down, it's a max. Because the vertex is at the very top. Okay? What's that, Tristan, that last value?
I got 6.
No. Brooke? Yeah, -5. All right. So, no homework tonight. Giving you a practice quiz Monday or Tuesday. We'll go over it Wednesday, and the quiz will be Thursday. Have a good weekend.